Welcome to the final night of WCS Europe round of 16. It is time to find out who the last two players are going through to the quarterfinals. We've got 2 European Zergs versus 2 Korean Protoss. Current score on the board, Europe are behind 4-2. I think we probably knew that was going to happen at some point. And tonight, though, they have the chance to equalise things up, but it's going to be a long road to see whether we can make it 4-4. Alongside me is the Muslim once more. It's going to be tough for the Euros tonight. Big group.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly tough. StarDust, when he came over to Europe, made a bit of a scene with his style. It's very hard to play against. And who's the other Korean?
San.
We have San. And San's incredibly strong. Like, he came over, won a tournament over in Finland, absolutely rocked the scene. So these Koreans, they're just very, very strong Protossers. And these Zergs...
Chances of us making it 4-4 in Europe? Europe holding?
You know?
Or is this going to be 6-2?
I never like to count Europeans out, especially when it's Nurcio. Like a few years ago, he really was a true contender for like one of the best players in the world, and he was one of the guys that could take out some of the Korean Protossers. So could be doable. And LiveZerg, he majorly impressed at his round of 32 group. Like, he took out MMA and 4GG.
Yeah, 2 Terrans, 2 fantastic Korean Terrans of that. It's a shame almost he hasn't got Terrans in his group. Let's take a look at all 4 players in Group D, our last group of the week and our last group of the round of 16. As Ben quite rightly pointed out, the 22-year-old Russian LiveZerg making his first appearance in Premier League and in the round of 16, no less as well. Last season's, well, he was brilliant up to 1 point last season, then Sam fell apart, but he's still a massively popular player and a very real danger in Group D. Nurcio alongside him, a 2-time Premier Tournament winner, but those were back in 2012, well over 2 years ago since he won a big title. And finally, last but not least, a man who also won his first title last year at DreamHack, StarDust, who is currently ranked 11 in the WCS rankings, San ranked number 4. Those two have got a real good shot at going to the global finals at the end of the season. So they'll want to do well in this group regardless.
They certainly will. They've been doing well in international tournaments all over the shop, winning left, right, and centre, it seems. And they're always strong performers, very consistent. LiveZerg is a real pleasant surprise in the group, actually, because, yeah, his round of 32 group, it was not easy. And him making it through in the way that he did with a brand new style, I'm looking forward to see him play as well. Yeah,
we've had one of those kind of players in every group, it seems. You know, we had Harstam, obviously, earlier on this week, and he didn't quite manage to make it through. We also had Tob as a bit of a wild card in his group. Again, looked okay in a couple of matches, but then struggled to get through. It hasn't happened for the outsiders yet. Is tonight going to be any different?
It could well be. LiveZerg is a player that I haven't seen much of. Nurcio, on the other hand, like, he's a player that's been around for the whole length of StarCraft 2. Started off a random player, then said, hey, screw it, I'm going to be Zerg, and he was one of the best Zergs there was. This group, though, it is ridiculously hard. You have, I would say, San is the favourite, closely followed by StarDust, but anything could really happen.
Okay. Let's find out what does happen. Let's have a look at the bracket right now and show you how they're matched up against each other. We're going to start off with LiveZerg versus StarDust. So the Koreans are split in the upper bracket. San, and as ever, it's a dual tournament format. The winners will play each other for the first place in the round of 8, and the losers will drop down to the lower bracket. The loser of the upper bracket, of course, gets a second chance at advancing on to the quarterfinals. I should say at this point as well, at the end of this evening, not only have we completed Group D, but we'll also be having the live draw for the round of 8, so you won't miss a thing. You'll know exactly who's playing who, and we'll tell you exactly when as well. So, first matches are almost upon us. They're just getting ready, I can see over in the corner of my eye, for the map vetoes. And this first matchup, StarDust versus LiveZerg, it's an intriguing kind of prospect, really, because if we've said LiveZerg, he's not a new man on the scene, but he's the first time he's been in Premier League and reached round of 16, and that in itself is a great achievement, but I'm sure he'll want to go further than that.
He certainly will. He's been a very, very strong player for a long time. Unbeknownst to a lot of the community, he's one of the guys that you run into him on ladder. You don't want that to happen very often because it's going to make your ladder rank plummet. But yeah, he's very solid. We have 2 European versus Korean openings for this game, so it's like not knocking out Korean or European to the lower bracket straight away. So both the Europeans have very solid chances, actually. And LiveZerg, he had a very unorthodox style against Terran, so I'm very much so looking forward to see him against Protoss.
Yeah, actually, his best statistic is actually his EVP, so interesting.
Bodes well for him.
Bodes well for the group. It's also interesting that Nurcio's also got decent rankings when it comes to ZVP as well, so they're not going to be straightforward pushovers. We've not got any form between these two in the past. They've never met in an official game offline, so it's very difficult to work out whether one's got the edge or whatever. But does that not give LiveZerg a minor chance? better than he maybe would have had he played him a few times? Because StarDust may not know what to expect.
I don't think StarDust will know what to expect. And StarDust, he has a style that he goes with every time. It's the big gateway sentry-centric style, and it's very hard to deal with. But luckily for LiveZerg, StarDust has been playing a lot around the whole scene, so he's been able to study him. Hopefully he has studied him, and he knows what kind of style he's going to put forward. But I really don't know what's going to happen in this match.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. Let's start off by looking in a little bit more detail at the Russian Zerg, LiveZerg no less. Currently ranked number 68 in the WCS points, so some way off the top 16 just now. And he does have a very shallow record in WCS games. As we've said, he made the round of 32 in Season 1 last season. That was the first time he'd broken into the Premier League of WCS. And this season improved yet further on to reach the round of 16. Has a 5-4 win-loss. But as we already pointed out, 2 very, very impressive wins over MMA and 4GG in the last round. Doesn't really help him out too much right now, though, because he's got no Terrans left. I almost think he's probably sitting there thinking, well, damn it, where are all the Terrans when you need them? But he has a reasonable record against Protoss.
Yeah, I don't think he's too sad. And even if he does run into a Terran later on, it's the one Terran that he already beat quite handily. So, it's looking quite good for him.
Yeah, great point as well is that 4GG is in the round of 8 already, and this guy's beaten him. So
exactly,
when you look at records and stuff, I know you can't look at it as purely as that, but he's got to be sitting there thinking, well, if a guy that I beat in the last round can make it to the round, I can do the same.
Surely, and he did it very convincingly too. 4GG just didn't know what to do against LiveZerg, and LiveZerg, he looked extremely solid. It wasn't through cheese. It wasn't through anything gimmicky. He just played exceptional against both those Terrans.
All right, well, let's take a look at StarDust now. He's the opponent for LiveZerg this evening. The Korean currently ranked 11 in the world in WCS points, so very much in the running for that top 16 place at the end of the season, or rather at the end of Season 3 for BlizzCon. Win-loss record, it's absolutely sensational in WCS matches. 54 wins, 13 defeats for the My Insanity player, who has recently just come back from a month in Korea where he was, it says trained in the CJ Enters Pro Gaming House, but actually I already know he didn't train in that house. He literally sat there and watched the Kesper players. He told me that.
I mean, that's mighty odd, but for Protoss, it is a lot about learning builds and seeing what you can do there, and just being in that environment is very good for you. You get motivated, and I just want to say, his win-loss record above 80% there, that has to be the highest in WCS.
There's one more stat that I want to point out to you as well, which is the third one down on the
sorry
screen.
for LiveZerg.
21-3 in WCS matches versus Zergs. He takes no prisoners when it comes to PvZ. So this is an intriguing matchup between these two. You've got a man, LiveZerg, who has nothing to lose, has reached the round of 16 for the first time, has by far and away the best ZVP stats of all races that he plays, against a player who also has ridiculous stats against Zergs. This could be a cracker.
I really do think it is going to be a cracker. Like, LiveZerg isn't a guy that we get to see a lot, and that's a shame, because what he showed, and I have to keep going back to what he showed us, it was just magnificent. But going up against StarDust, that is no easy feat, so he's got his work cut out for him. And is he an experienced LAN player? You have to think about these things. I'm not sure he is, but he doesn't seem like a nervous guy. He's just walking around, checking out the scene.
Absolutely. No, you're right. He's not fazed at all by anything that's going on in the studio, not fazed by any of the people watching him. Not fazed. I mean, he just sat there really coolly practicing beforehand. We were all messing around in the studio and rehearsals, and he's just sat there taking it all in. Yeah, it all seems fine, no problem. He could almost be in his bedroom right now.
Yeah, when I arrived this morning to practice myself, he was here already practicing, just seemed very nice, came to me, hello. Didn't say he was nervous or anything, just came into play, and seems just a confident guy, so I'm liking it.
All right, well, thank you very much for now, Muslim. We are going to head over to our commentary team for our first game of the evening. Remember, this is the final group. The last 2 spots are up for grabs. Who's going to take him? Is it Europe? Is it Korea? Let's find out with our first game of the evening. StarDust versus LiveZerg with Kalaris and Apollo.
All right, guys, welcome to the caster's desk for our first series of the day, as we have LiveZerg going up against StarDust. And I mean, as the stats said before, StarDust is just a killer in this matchup.
He is a killer, man. He's a killer overall. StarDust is so famous for his aggression, for his I don't care attitude, and he comes into today off the back of playing in Korea, practicing in Korea, but Red Eye did say it right. He actually spent a lot of time in the CJ house, 10 days to be exact, but he didn't actually play, which is weird. So he played a couple of games here and there, but he actually just spent all the time studying and learning and just understanding how they work. He said to me, once he gets the practice and, you know, the mechanical practice, he's going to be really good. And I believe him there. He would have learned a lot within that CG house for sure.
Yeah, especially with people like Hero in that house. You know, we've seen him time and time again in the Intel Extreme Masters. And StarDust, since coming to Europe, he's been a monster. The stats speak for themselves. There's really no reason to reiterate those. But our first map is going to be King Sejong Station between these two guys. As LiveZerg, on the other hand, on the other side of things, we haven't really seen much of his ZVP. So
yeah,
this is going to be a learning experience.
He surprised us in the round of 32 by advancing over MMA and 4GG. He can do it then. He could do it now. We'll have to find out what kind of shape he's in today and what he's practiced.
All right, let's get into it then. Game number 1 in this best of 3, as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner our Red Zerg, representing Vega Squadron. It's LiveZerg. And down to the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss. Representing my insanity, it's StarDust.
All right. StarDust. The highest, well, the player with the highest win-to-loss ratio in the league. He hasn't been to a final, but doesn't matter. He's just got the most amazing stats ever. But I do want to talk about something early on. Actually, no. Okay, never mind. No, I don't. I thought that was actually going to be an extractor, but and go back onto my train of thought. So, StarDust said to me earlier, I said, how do you think you're going to do today, buddy? And he said, well, you know, I'll be honest with you. I'm actually not sure. Game 1 will tell me the answer to the question, and then I'll tell you later. Because he's a little bit unsure how his practice and what he's been doing in the last couple of weeks is going to come out today. And he's also very unsure what to expect from San, LiveZerg, and Nurtio. After game number 1, after series number 1, he's either going to be feeling very confident or feeling a little bit worried about today. All
right, so this is going to really dictate how he's doing. That's good to know here, as LiveZerg, he's really not taking any chances.
Yeah, he drone scouted. He was going to hatch first, then spotted the forge and threw down the spawning pool instead.
A nice little decision here by LiveZerg, and I think, you know, from what we saw in the past of LiveZerg, like the round of 32, for example, you know, with him against Terran focusing again into the mid-game of things, I'm wondering what he's actually going to do in the mid-game, because he could bring a very, very similar style against Protoss, actually, what he did there with Ro16.
Nobody really knows what to expect from LiveZerg today, not even the players in the group, because nobody has seen him play against Protoss or don't really know what to see from him overall.
Yeah, and it's not like LiveZerg hasn't been around. I mean, he has been in the scene for ages and ages and ages, but just never really hit the stride of something like a top 16 in a tournament like this. So this is certainly like his best opportunity to prove everyone that he is a contender.
Well, he's already slowed down StarDust's Nexus by a little bit there, and that's a good start for him. And he also sees that there's no rushed gateway. There was actually a second pylon before the rushed gateway, so he knows that there's no super immediate attack incoming. Some of the builds and strategies, which have become quite popular in Korea recently, are the fast thirds, and also Oracle plays. Like 1 or 2 Oracles with the fast thirds, quite popular too. Most of the time, you either play a really solid game like Zest, which is like Stargate, Colossus, and just the traditional style, or you play a more aggressive kind of game, which is more like Classic or Parting or someone else, which is a lot more aggressive from the get-go and a lot more gateway-oriented, just having a lot of gateway units.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see which one he's going to try and take in. Because if you think about the big Protoss player from the CJ house is Hero. Hero usually plays a quite standard game against Zerg.
Yeah, he does. And then, of course, you do have the other side of the spectrum, you know, those aggressive Protoss like you were mentioning before, which actually there's one of those in this group, in San, who can be absolutely furious with his play. So this is going to be an interesting group because StarDust can technically play it out, as you said, as you know, someone like Hero, but there are still those tendencies sometimes of aggression. It's all going to come down to how StarDust wants to really open up.
But one of the most important things to know that Protoss players and how they learn and think is I think Damuzim brought it up yesterday, it's not so much about the mechanical practice you put in, it's more about the thought process on what builds to do, what builds not to do, and how to execute them properly. That's how to play Protoss. And, you know, so just for StarDust watching and learning, I think is going to impact his game dramatically today. And we already see a tech choice coming in for him.
Yeah, with that Twilight Council on the way. LiveZerg behind all of this has just gone drones, drones, drones. Really nothing threatening him with double gas. Is now going down on the natural at around the 6-minute mark. Still propelling himself quite quickly, but on the other side of things, StarDust has done all right to kind of keep up as well.
Yeah. So far, so standard from LiveZerg. It's just like normal gas timings, overload at the same time. But StarDust is going to go for Dark Templar. So it's going to be like a Dark Templar rush while taking a third with a Dark Templar, you'd imagine. I guess you could try to do an attack after the Dark Templar success or hope for the success of them, but it's quite slowed down for you to be aggressive. So usually the most common is for a third base to come down quite fast. StarDust is hunting that overload, but it is going to be safe here by the looks of it.
1 or 2 shots. It's going to be damn close.
Oh, no, maybe not. So he does lose it. That's a nice pickup. And look at the lack of overloads around StarDust's base. They just aren't. So this Dark Templar play is going to be pretty strong. There's a probe out on the map. Going to build a pylon somewhere. And there it is.
Yeah, no controller watchtowers. That's a little bit of a downside, really. Normally you would have Zerglings on those to spot what's going on, but...
Well, this DT play, Kalaris.
There's not really much to deal with it.
This DT play is going to be pretty devastating. There's no spores anywhere. There's no layer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, to be honest. I mean, look at it. There's nothing to actually detect. This is going to do a lot of damage.
And to be fair, LiveZerg, what has he really seen during all of this? He saw...
Zilch.
Yeah, all he saw was the front of the wall, and that's about it. He never got overlords in, and all of his precautions have just been Zerglings?
Well, welcome to the round of 16, LiveZerg. It's your first time here, and you're meeting StarDust, who's a player who is more than capable to go to the finals. And there come the Dark Templar. No spores, nothing.
Oh,
I don't
dear.
even think he's seen it. And 1 Dark Templar to each base, and he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, 1 spore starts now on the 3rd. Likewise on a few of the other bases with the layer as well. So he's going to try and continue on and hold on, but he's going to lose so many workers. He's already lost 12.
And there's no way for him to do counter damage because Dark Templar can defend as well.
Yeah.
This is a terrible start for LiveZerg.
You're right, no Overseers with that because the layer isn't finished. It's a bit of a catastrophe. The 3rd base is going down behind this for StarDust.
One more
but
swipe.
Oh, dear.
This is, almost a good game here. Look at the Lings doing the counterattack. Couple of DTs here, and the cannon.
Yeah.
4 DTs. 4 Dark Templar.
Well, that's going to kill Zerglings pretty darn fast, especially since they don't have +1 to get down this Nexus.
Man.
So it's, yeah.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. GG.
That was a bit of a sad start, unfortunately, for LiveZerg, and StarDust, just throws caution to the wind. It's like, I'm going to open up with Dark Templars, and it works, and that was the most simple game of the round of 16, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty straightforward. Not very complicated of a game. Dark Templar, no detection, game over. Sick analysis. Can't wait to hear the Muslim's thoughts on map number 1 later.
I hope he does that one. That'd be brilliant. That would be brilliant. All right. Well, that means game number 1 is done. StarDust is victorious.
Yeah, to be honest, Kalaris, you might as well put Red Eye on the analysis screen for that map. It was that easy.
Yeah, that's a good idea,
You could get the bar girl on the analysis screen for that one.
Yeah.
She could be like, Dark Templar, no answer, game over. That's all you'd need to say.
Perfect.
And you'd be, dancing with the best of us.
All right. Well, game number 1 was a bit of a whitewash, unfortunately, for LiveZerg. Gonna have to book up his ideas for game number 2.
Yeah, that's, as much as we talked a little bit about what we don't don't know what's going to happen or what to expect from LiveZerg, likewise can be said about StarDust and San. They don't play on the, they usually, at least StarDust usually does, but they don't live here or haven't recently for StarDust's case because he's been in Korea sorting out visa issues. And you don't know what he's going to bring to the table today. So, and especially Protoss is an unpredictable race to play against because of all the options they have. And then a guy's disappeared to Asia for the last month.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
And of all the maps to actually go on to for map number 2, it's going to be Altazim Stronghold. What do you make of this? I'm kind of surprised it got through the veto process.
Yeah, I didn't actually take note of the veto process because In Control was pestering me. So I actually didn't note them down. He's in the studio somewhere and he was distracting me from doing my job, as he always does. So I actually don't know what LiveZerg vetoed, so I could help you, but I can't, sorry. It's In Control's fault.
All right, okay then. Well,
but
nevertheless.
Yes, it's surprising to see this scrape through. Unless he's comfortable with a Ling Infesta Ultralist combination of units. He did try to go to that in the previous game, Ling upgrade, so maybe he likes a big map to get those Lings going.
All right, well, let's get into it. Game number 2 now, as we have LiveZerg going up against StarDust. Needs to bring his way back into this, does our Zergy, as game number 1 was a bit horrific. Let's get into it. Spawn down the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg. Representing Vega Squadron, it is LiveZerg. And up to the top left-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss, currently 1 up in this series. Representing my insanity, it's StarDust.
So is StarDust, with a win here, going to go 22-3?
Yes. if
and
the win is there.
if he reaches Nurtio, he could be looking at 24.
It's...
Oh no, 23-2. God,
Yeah.
I hate math on stream. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Across all of the WCS, tournaments that fill into that, he just has the most insane win ratios. And I've just learned something. Vega Squadron are sponsored by a fish and seafood company, from what I just noticed.
I did see it on his shoulder.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Maybe that's why their logo is a little shark. All right.
Well, yeah. Hatch first versus Cannon Rush.
Yeah.
Wake up, everybody, because the cannons are coming.
That was really catchy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just... Sometimes
Just an
I
impulse.
feel like somebody takes over my body and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Is it the spirit of Tasteless?
Could do, man. Somewhere Tasteless is singing to Cannon Rushes, so...
Yeah.
All right. Righty-ho.
Pokes in.
Sees the late spawning pool and now knows a hatchery's down, so we're going to see a Cannon Rush.
He gets trailed as well, so he's going to have to be very, very sneaky about this. The second probe is still coming in, though. So that's the sneaky part. Oh, he gets spotted. Never mind. It's not so sneaky anymore.
You gotta be pulling those drones, mate, because this is real. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
This is not a drill.
I mean, you get full confirmation that it's real when you see that second probe coming as well. It's like, why are you here? So
Right,
pulling
can he
lots
pull
of
it
drones.
off? Can he do this?
This is a big committal.
Yeah, he's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
He's got to cancel, then rebuild, then cancel by the looks of it if he's going to try and do this. He's actually pulling a probe to do a Nexus. He can't do it.
I think there was way too many drones. LiveZerg reacted rightly, and it's all too difficult.
300 mineral difference between the both of them with the income.
Yeah.
Of course, having so many drones off the line.
Do you reckon if that second probe hadn't been spotted by the Overlord, it would have, he would have stuck around and tried a bit more? Like, be a bit more sneaky on the high grounds or something and then slowly go
towards it? Well, if there weren't more
it?
drones, then probably.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you think about it, it's not like a major fail from StarDust, especially because of the amount of drones that came off. I mean, he's happy with it, going to send these two guys back. The difference is not that big between the two of them. LiveZerg starting to catch up a little bit with the income, but that's kind of normal at this point, so... Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, the most hurtful thing, I guess, here is really the supply block that stops him from continuing powering on those drones, probes even, I should say. And he's just adding on that cannon back at home. So he's solid, he's fortified, and we'll see how he wants to play out from here in cross positions, which can be sometimes a little bit difficult to pressure forwards with, but eventually I'll have a lot of room.
All right, so what is the follow-up gonna be from StarDust?
What will it be?
Could it be super fast third on a big map? The reason why a lot of Zerg players veto this map is because of the distance to the base of the Protoss. It's very hard to be aggressive at a good time. So that means that StarDust can play greedy, take a third fast. Because if he does, then, like I said, it takes LiveZerg a long time to get over there. So the Stargate has come down for StarDust. How does he balance with taking the third with this? I think it's going to be quite fast.
Do you think maybe a Void Ray gets added on to hold the third, or is it just straight to like Phoenix, for example, to do some harassment?
I don't know. Depends what his goal is.
I do like Phoenix on this map because it is so big, and then you can start pushing away Overlords and directions if you can find them. That is,
Yeah.
etc.
And I don't think I think it'll be Phoenix, because I don't think you need to build a Void Ray to take a third. You just take the third.
Yeah, because it's so
I
far.
don't think you need the Oracle. The map's too big for the Oracle to do damage in good time. He's got a long way to go. So I would think Phoenix.
That was a slight misclick there. He started Overlord speed and then goes into the layer after cancelling it. So that is now on the way.
He's going to try an Oracle. So, I mean, this is going to get spotted quite fast, I would imagine, depending on the route that it takes. Because look at LiveZerg's vision currently. Overlord to the north, Lings around the third area, and then Overlords to the left. So if this gets spotted early, it shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. Spore Crawler coming in, though, for LiveZerg. And Layer's quite fast now because of the potential DT plays.
Yeah. It really is that. It's like, well, you caught me off guard in the first game. Just in case I'm not being tricked again. That Oracle is going to be spotted pretty fast here, though.
Yeah, it's spotted immediately by LiveZerg, who I would have hoped spotted that.
Yeah.
He's actually not adding on anything extra, so maybe he didn't see it.
Thinks he's okay, maybe. Where are his Spore Crawlers? There isn't one in the main.
He's only got one Spore Crawler, and he's not adding on any else, so actually he may not have seen this.
Yeah.
So that's he's actually sending in an Overlord to spot the robotics facility coming in. I don't think he saw this. He's seen the Stargate and Robo. He's adds on another Spore Crawler now because I think he saw it this time.
Yeah, still not one in the main, though. So he's going to have to use Queens alone to really kind of thwart that danger. Gets at least one drone, maybe a few more.
Yeah.
Just one extra. But Void Ray is being added on to claim what I assume is now the third. There we go.
But this is a pretty good drone game from LiveZerg so far. I mean, 57 drones, 15 more. So, you know, it's nice. He knows the third base is down, and he's going to work on, by the looks of it, like a Hydra push soon. You're already getting Hydra range on the way. He's got a good drone count, which means he can take a fourth soon.
Yeah.
It can mean that he can create a lot of Hydralists here. But because StarDust got the Robo immediately after the Stargate, his robotics plays pretty fast in this game. So he'll probably have Colossus out by the time the Hydras get onto the other side of the map. So I don't think the Hydralist push would do that much.
And this is kind of showing still shades of how he was playing really against Terrans with Roach and Hydra pushes and, you know, trying to get that composition worked out. So one would suspect that maybe this was, you know, part of LiveZerg's build for a long time in this matchup, and then when the Hydra buff came to their attack speed, that it nicely and neatly transitioned on into that matchup as well.
Well, still nothing else been added on, just Hydralists and Overlords. More Hydralists, more Lings. So he's going to push over. He's going to push over, and I'm not too sure how well this will do. The first Colossus is almost out, and he's chrono boosting. He'll get a second one quite fast. He's got 4 sentries and a photon overcharge. And StarDust does know about these Hydras because he's seen them. It's obviously very good. And the Spire thrown down. So the Spire can be like a Mutalist switch up after the Hydralist push. And 8 more drones, so he's going to saturate that fourth quite fast. I still don't believe this is going to do that much, by the way. Nice addition of double Stargate, by the way.
Yeah, transitioning on really, really quickly, really fast.
And he didn't see the Spire yet. He's just throwing that down anyway, like a Void Ray Colossus mix.
Yeah.
3 Stargate.
All right, so how much is he going to be able to do with this? Right now, actually getting a few more drones on the transfer over, which is a nice start for StarDust. And then on the other side of things, how much did he know about it moving out into the middle? Did he see it all with the Observer, Oracle even?
I think he saw it moving off across slowly.
He has very few units.
He's got
to
2
the front.
Colossus, though. I mean, you can't walk in with this. Yeah, and there's force fields. He's fine. Photon overcharge. Unless he makes a critical mistake. By the way, the Oracle's still getting kills.
Nicely done. Oh, doesn't want to lose the Mothership core. Does in the end. But the 2 Colossi will come down and be able to push this away. He actually might lose the Nexus. This is going to be close. No, he's going to get it. He is actually going to get that. So the Colossi were in a bit of an odd spot to deal with it.
They weren't quite in the right position, were they? So that's quite bad there. The Spy is about to complete, so we'll see either Corruptors to deal with the Colossus or a massive Mutalist switch. Which one is? He's seen Void Ray, so I think Mutalist is better. And he's got his 4th down, so we are going to see like an air game come out from him from this point.
Charge gets added on here for StarDust as well. It feels like he's like a little bit of a step behind what's going on right now for LiveZerg's side of things.
Shouldn't have lost that 3rd. That was a mistake.
I mean, if the Colossi had just been there, then how do you actually break that?
Yeah, he's seen the Spy with the Observer, so he's actually getting +1 attack in Phoenixes. And overall, StarDust's game plan must be defensive. On 3 bases is fine, 4 if you want to stretch yourself thin, but I think 3 is fine for the time being once you've spotted this kind of switch up. And all you got to do is build Phoenixes, man. if you want to go to the Fleet Beacon to get the range, you make your life easier.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just add them into your army composition overall, and they still beat Mutalisk here. And this isn't going to make as big as an impact as LiveZerg would have wished for. With cannons being added on and already 3 and about to be 6 Phoenix here, the 3 Stargates so fast in this game is beautiful. It's really nice.
Yep, the survival of Protoss is going to try and begin. As well, one cannon's going to end up falling. He's dealing with the frontal push, and at the back, the Phoenix is already going to work on the Mutalisks, so StarDust doing okay.
Yeah, StarDust is in the middle, though. He's got to be careful of his Colossus there.
Whoa, where's it going?
But overall, when you are LiveZerg, you're like, oh no, not already.
Yeah.
He's got Phoenixes out already, and he's going to really have to use his bank.
And here's our first-person view of StarDust throwing down those force fields to stop the pursuit here, but he still has to deal with these Mutalisks who are focusing down those units quite quickly. Roaches and Hydralisks coming in. The 3 Colossi, though, they've just gone untouched, so they're going to have the best time of their lives.
Yeah, you can see how he's controlling the Phoenixes, but leaving everything else to kind of just attack move and then making sure the Phoenixes don't go too close. Going to take a 4th base now, which is fine to do, but overall, he's in really, really good shape, despite the supply disadvantage. I think StarDust is, okay. The big problem is, though, that LiveZerg has 5 bases and should be mining from that 5th base, which he's not currently, for more gas.
Yeah.
So he can build more air and more upgrades. Let's see if StarDust can keep into the game, though. I mean, I think he's doing okay, but we'll see if he's able to keep going well.
All right, he's going to try and pressure again, but there's too much firepower there for the Protoss now. It's going to be difficult to ever break that. And as we see this develop, if he continues on with more air, it's very kind of Nerd-Geo-esque.
Yeah, but StarDust does not want to get overconfident here. He's got very few units to actually deal with a massive ground army. He's already lost 1 Colossus.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. If he loses those 2 Colossi, then that is a big, big deal against Roaches and Hydras that are now plowing forwards against this army. Only 3 Zealots to accompany this, and he's almost on top of the Colossi with that. We'll push that away with just these extra Zealots, though.
Yeah, nice pickups. So yeah, definitely got a little bit too confident by moving out there, and he could have got swarmed. And if you see in the unit tab, it's just Ling Hydra. Just Ling Hydra.
Fleet Beacon's getting added on behind this as well, so those Phoenix are going to be very, very powerful eventually once the Anion Pulse Crystal starts.
I mean, StarDust is pushing this all the way home.
Yeah, he's picked up so many units he can't kill them. Oh well, he'll just isolate them and continue roasting them to bits.
The biggest part of this was just having the 3 Stargates done and ready before the Spy had even been put down, really.
Yeah.
It's a big point to this game.
I like it from StarDust. I mean, if you're not going for the Void Rays, like at that point, or if you don't need the Phoenix at that point, then there are Void Rays to add on, which are always going to be quite strong in the composition anyway, right? So it's certainly an interesting play. And StarDust plays it really nicely because now he's got his 4th base up. It's pretty much uncontested. LiveZerg is just making Roach Hydra and kind of in a very, very similar vein to what we see actually Tefel doing, getting kind of stuck in that mid-game for a while.
But it's not good. It's not good to be at this army composition at this part of the game. The Hive can help out once he actually gets up to the Hive for Vipers or maybe some Ultralisks or something, considering he's working on melee upgrades. But the problem is, StarDust is going to reach maximum supply. 200 supply soon. When he does, he's going to kill you.
Yeah, man, StarDust is the murderer of Zergs. He absolutely obliterates them time and time again. And, he's 1 game up in this, so is this one on to the winner's match. And LiveZerg right now is not having the best of times. This army is not fully equipped to deal with, well, it's only 2 Colossi actually, so it's not massive amounts.
Yeah, Phoenixes have to help here.
Yeah, they do. Maybe pick up some of the Hydralisks or anything that they can during this. There's a lot of lifts, though. There are a lot of lifts on those Phoenix. All right, let's see how this is going to go. He actually drives it back just a little bit. The Zerglings are going to actually take down that 4th base. Has to sacrifice it in the end, otherwise he would be drawn out into an open engagement.
Yeah, I think that's okay, though. I mean, losing the probe sucks. I still think StarDust is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep saying it here. Even with losing that 4th, I think his army's just so superior.
And the 5th base
doesn't lose to Roach Hydra.
The 5th base never got really mined from still.
Not really, no.
Very, very little amount. So he'll clean up these Lings. He'll probably try and take his 4th again.
Right.
And then from there on, his army's just vastly superior.
All right, for the first time now, I can see how LiveZerg can make this work with the Ultras on the way, but he needs to buy time for them to work and would need to make like a Queen Hydra Ultras army because he has to deal with the Void Rays too. But a nice move here from StarDust is disallowing LiveZerg from buying himself time to get up towards that key tech. And unfortunately, Stardust is also moving across the map.
8 roaches are on the way and popping right in the fray of things, whilst the Phoenix also go for some harassment on the extractors. He could probably get this if he just focuses down on it. It's going to be very, very close, and he does get it just in the nick of time. So that's a nice pickup for him.
Well, Stardust is not attacking with his whole army. Despite killing off a base here, or trying to get into 2 bases, Void Rays are going to be very important in fighting the Ultralisks.
And he's got +2 weapons on his air this whole time as well, so those Ultras and even Roaches at the front are going to just melt away.
Right. And Stardust is trying to turn his economy back online with his 4th. He's adding in High Templar to his composition, so even if there are Queens and Hydralisks to support the Ultralisks, they're going to get melted quite fast. And where is the Ultralisk Cavern? The Ultralisk Cavern hasn't been spotted yet. It's about to be, though, by Hallucinated Phoenix, I think. Oh, no, denied.
Oh, well. Oh, how many Void Rays does he have? He has 8. Okay, so...
Yeah, that's a lot.
And here come the Ultras. There's like 5 of those or so. Zealot harassment on this left-hand side again will get cleaned up. Where's Stardust? Stardust isn't actually...
Yeah, Stardust
anything.
doesn't know about the Ultras. I assume that he's thinking this is probably Vipers. So this is why the addition of Templar is okay here, and he's sitting back because he knows that a Roach Hydra Viper must come to you, not the other way around. So he may get surprised a little bit by these Ultralisks, I think. But overall, I still think that he has an army to deal with it.
And when Phoenix is
he
in
sees
these
it now.
numbers...
He sees it in the middle now.
Did he? Oh, yeah, got it.
He sees it now.
All right.
So it's a little bit worrisome, but you probably just want to make Archons, warp in a round of High Templar for Archons, considering you don't have a lot of Immortals.
Resources lost vastly in favor of Stardust here as he continues to just build up a strong army. I mean, he's up in terms of supply at this point. Granted, he has killed a lot of workers.
Stormer!
Gotta be careful. Oh, dear me. That's a lot of Hydras taking a lot of damage. And it just gets pushed back instantly off those 2 storms. But Hydra, they do not want to be walking that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, Roach is doing quite a bit of damage on that right-hand side.
Yep.
Phoenix to the rescue. Pick them all up, boys. Pick them all up.
And he's going to defend this base probably if he just walks down there a little bit.
He needs to pick them all up and then send his army to, or get ready to fight this Hydra Ultra.
Yeah. All right, well. Okay, another great storm actually lands on those Hydras. Just the squishy innards, not wasting any of those storms on the Ultras because that would take absolutely forever. And allowing the Void Rays to really go to town. But good transfuses there by LiveZerg to keep those alive initially. Bring down the rest of the Hydralisks, so it'll mean that those Void Rays have free reign, as well as this entire army having free reign pretty much over this.
Yeah, superior army. Just overall better army for LiveZerg. And you can see in the supply differences now that that was a bad fight for LiveZerg. It didn't go very well. And he's running home with everything else, but he's only running home to more Roaches and Queens. And once again, Stardust is on the pounce, on the rebound.
There was even a drone in that army chasing a High Templar. That was impressive. But for now, Stardust, yeah, you're right, man. He can just do what he wants at this point. The creep spread hasn't been spectacular thus far from LiveZerg, so it's only down that middle path. And again, the 5th base for LiveZerg has not really been mined from too much, but can just get completely destroyed here. Yeah,
it's Phoenix's to harass this bottom base while Void Rays kill this top one. And LiveZerg's going to be hurting with his economy again. And Stardust just kind of chilling. Doesn't look too stressed up there. He knows he's leading and he's about to go, or at least advance from this position.
Oh, that's nice for the Stalkers.
Yeah, he's looking very calm today. Very calm and collected.
Yeah.
Not really stressing out, not really making too many mistakes. He's chilling, but unfortunately for LiveZerg, he's in a very, very bad position.
Yeah, he was the wild card in the round of 32. He did well. GG. But here in the round of 16, Stardust is able to take him out in the first series pretty convincingly. But, I mean, what else do we expect from someone like Stardust, who comes along and monster modes a lot of Zergs?
Well, Stardust is ranked 11th in the world right now, and he is competing for more than just 11th. And with more performances like that one, absolutely will. A bit of a shocker there for LiveZerg, who seem to be a little bit outclassed. But it is not over yet. Fish and seafood there, Vega.
Yeah.
It's not over yet for LiveZerg. He still has another game to play in the lower bracket, but it is Stardust who moves to the winner's game already.
Pretty impressive stuff from him to start, and as you said, you know, that's for LiveZerg, that's a tall order in the first series of this group, but we'll see how he does later on, of course. Still has a chance here in Group D for the round of 16. But Stardust doing what he does best, and it's going to be difficult to stop that guy.
That's right, he just kills Zergs. He's now 22 wins and 3 losses versus Zerg players within the WCS. That is an insane insane record. That's absolutely stupidly good. And he continues to beat Zerg players left and right.
All right, well, let's hear from the winner himself. Moving on to the winner's match, it's StarDust.
Thanks very much, chaps. Yes, with StarDust. Well done. Congratulations. I know we teased you a little bit before and we messed around, but we know how good you are. Why is it so easy for you against Zergs?
In my opinion, Zerg is pretty strong, but just most of Zerg have very confusing in tournament game. So that's why I am good, because I can do all-in cheese and kind of macro also. So yeah, that's why I have a good record versus Zerg.
Do you think, we've always joked about you being cheese dust or star cheese, and it's a bit of fun, but I know that you take that to heart as well. But does that help you now? Because players are worried, aren't they? They're worried that you're going to cheese and then you don't cheese.
Yes, of course. It's one of my secrets, but when I cheese, that's when I have no confidence versus my opponent. So now I have confidence.
Where did you get that confidence from? Does it come from playing well? Does it come from going over to Korea and spending time with the CJ Entus guys?
Yeah, I a lot from CJ Entus player. They are insane. When I go to their first time, I thought I'm middle player in CJ Entus maybe, but first ranked tournament I'm worst. Then I realized I just little bit cocky in pro gaming life. I was just nothing, so I have to learn a lot. Yeah, it's like study. So time to time I will getting better. Yeah, I swear.
Okay. Who was the main player you watched at CJ Entus? Was it Hero?
First time I watched CJ Hero game, but I just realized I can't try his playing. So I decide I learn from him, but my role model is the other player, like Bone and Trust, someone else. Yeah, they are really good.
Well done. Congratulations on your first game. Still got one more game to go. Any particular player you'd prefer? Another Zerg, maybe? Or do you think it's okay PvP with San?
I wish versus Zerg is okay for me, but PvP is always very hard. Even San is very good player, so I just prefer Cannon Rush versus Zerg. So come on, Zerg.
Okay, StarDust there, as fun as ever, winning his opening game in Group D. We're going to have a couple of guest stars breaking down exactly how he managed to win his opening game in this group.
All right, thanks a lot, Red Eye, and big congrats to StarDust, of course. I'm Target, joined by In Control. We're going to break down game number 1, because I feel like game number 2 can be explained basically as a failed cannon rush into just Void Ray cheese, and that's just really boring stuff. Game number 1 is where some weird mix of genius meets ingenuity and comes together to form something that I want to call the DT Rush. What do you think about that?
I think he played it out really, really amazing. If you can see at the screen at the moment, he hit the DT Shrine at the perfect location.
Yeah.
It's, I think it's the most impressive play I've ever seen by StarDust.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you were to put if we can pan back, Funka, please, a little bit. If you put the Dark Shrine basically anywhere else in the base, over here, up here, if you can scroll up here is no good. There's an Overlord right there, so if you put it underneath the Overlord, they will see the Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
Dark Shrine technology actually doesn't have the invisibility ability, which is kind of interesting because the Dark Templar do.
Maybe David Kim could fix that.
It makes sense in the fluff. So if we could fast forward to actually post Dark Shrine, you'll notice a couple of things. On LiveZerg's half of the map, he doesn't actually spot the pylons. This is mostly because StarDust hides the pylons and hides a technology, a technique, that I feel like a lot of players don't use enough.
And wait. Funka, pause, please. Look at the split from StarDust. This is like watching.
Did he play Warcraft 3?
He probably did, or maybe Dota. Dota players could do
something where the micro is this intensive. He actually sends 1 to each base and then 2 to the 3rd base, because that's the base with the most fresh resources. So you gotta hacks that down right now. StarDust, if we can go ahead and resume the game, enters in. The probe leaves. This is outside of vision of people. They don't see that. He even saves the probe. The DTs go back. away from that. The probe's saved. He goes to the bases, and the DTs prioritize the drones.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, amazing play by StarDust. And LiveZerg's reaction to this, pulling all his drones, making a ton of links, having no detection, almost worked. But in the end, StarDust did enough damage.
Go back to that quick, Funka, by the way, on the bridge up here. Look at this DT guarding the ramp. If more drones come down the ramp, they will actually have to go past the sword.
Look. He's even picking up drones.
That's like 3 extra drones. And the Queen, there's one in your butt. And the Queen off creep, of course, doesn't make it. So this is, again, today history was made. I think we can call this the DT rush, hiding the Dark Shrine, saving the probe, guarding the bridge, and then that Dota split.
And also defensive DTs. Truly amazing play.
Absolutely stunning game. So StarDust, of course. Thank you, Apollo. So yeah, on this day, over to you, Red Eye. Thank you.
It's not often I'm left without a word to say, but on this occasion I don't have many words left. Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more action from Group D of WCS Europe. Thank you very much to Targa and In Control. Thanks.